All right, let's talk about TV. So, Anthony, you run Roku. I think TV is one of the most interesting areas in all of tech. The big screen TV in the center of your living room, tech companies have been trying to get it for 20 years. They have mostly failed until, I would say, recently with the explosion of streaming services. You were just telling me backstage, you run one of the most popular streaming platforms in the entire world. Tell me a little bit about Roku's business.
Sure, so Roku's basic belief is that all TV is going to switch from cable and satellite and over the air to streaming, and that just like platforms have emerged for phones, like iOS and Android, the same thing's happening for the big screen TV, and that is our business, being a high volume platform for television, and we monetize, our business model is we monetize through high margin, primarily through high margin media licensing and service businesses.
So that's surprising that you make most of your money in licensing. I think when most people think of Roku, they think of the Roku 4, they think of the streaming stick. What's the split between the hardware side of your business and the actual software platform licensing side?
Well, so some key metrics for Roku is we focus on streaming hours, for example. We streamed 5.5 billion hours of content last year. That was up 72% from the year before. We stream more content, 3 times as much content as Google, 3 times as much content as Amazon, twice as much as Apple in the US. So streaming hours is a big metric for us. Another metric is active accounts. So we have roughly 10 million active accounts worldwide. Most of them are in the US. That's growing about 50% a year. And then, the business, so we monetize those active accounts through advertising and that sort of thing. Right now it's roughly just about half of our gross profit comes from monetizing our installed base, and the other half comes from positive gross margins on our hardware business. But the hardware business is growing. It's growing, but it's not. But the media and licensing business is growing at a much faster rate, and that will become almost our entire business. I mean, if you think about it, all TV is going to be streamed. That means all advertising is going to be streamed, and we're a huge ad platform. A third of all OTT ads flow through Roku. So we have a lot of features in our platform for advertising, something called the Roku Ad Framework. We have a team in New York that sells ads, and it's becoming a big business for us.
Isn't that becoming more of a congested business? As advertising moves to digital, you have the scale obviously across television, but advertisers want to find those customers on mobile, on the desktop, on tablet. Are you able to cross all those streams?
That is a trend where customers want to target, the customer no matter where they are. But we're still a little early for that. I think there's some of that happening. I think most the kinds of advertisers that advertise on Roku today, one, it's they like the fact that it's an advanced ad platform, right? So TV is still in the Stone Ages, basically. For advertising, for conventional TV, you buy TV shows, you're Nielsen rated, that sort of thing. Whereas on a platform like Roku, you buy audiences. You say, I want to target, auto intenders that make over $100,000 a year, and then it's measured. The ads can be interactive, and so it's just a much more sophisticated way to target a customer. So that's appealing. But also, roughly just about half of Roku customers don't have a traditional pay TV subscription. So that there's an increasingly large generation of customers that don't have pay TV. And if you want to target ads, which are still great ads, TV ads are 55-inch screen, unskippable commercials. There's no fraud. Everything's above the fold. They're a great ad unit. If you want to target those ads at consumers that don't have pay TV, then a platform like Roku is the way to get those ads.
All right. Well, look, ads are fascinating, and they make your money, so I'm sure everyone's happy with that. But no one here wants to talk about ads.
Okay.
Let's talk about TV devices. Let's talk about your business and the business of the future. So right now you make boxes, and then more interestingly, you license your operating system to television manufacturers.
Right.
And it's an increasingly growing number of TV manufacturers. What do you have right now?
Yeah, so our core technology is an operating system, Roku OS. It's sort of half all the software that runs on devices, and another half runs in the cloud. And we license it. So we distribute it 3 ways. One is we sell players, sticks and boxes, and that's a great business for us. For example, we just launched a new version of the Roku streaming stick. It won 5 out of 5 stars from CNET, Editor's Choice Award. CNET said, if I could only pick one streaming player, it would be the Roku streaming stick, the new streaming stick. So, we win lots of awards, we sell lots of products, we have lots of happy customers. But we also license to TV manufacturers, and that's our fastest growing way to distribute our operating system. So last year was the first full year we were in market. The Roku TV was in market. Now we don't sell them ourselves, Roku, we license, and our TV partners sell them. And we sold, well over 1 million units. We took 8% of the smart TV market in the US last year, going from 0, and that's still growing. We have five different TV manufacturers that we currently have relationships with. This year they'll have about 60 different models of Roku TVs in all major retailers in the US. So, if you think about it, the way the TV business works, there's about 39 million TVs a year sold in the US. Roughly half of them are smart TVs. The TVs in general is a flat business, but the smart TV business is growing as all TVs become internet connected. And the way it used to be is TV companies tried to make their own software and not doing a great job. Now that we're licensing, it's lower cost. Costs less to build a TV based on Roku software. You get much more content, and it's basically free, and you get more shelf space. And so, 60 Roku TV models in the market means that 60, because it's a flat market, means that 60 models lost space at retail. So that dynamic is causing all TV companies to license, except for probably Samsung. So in a few years, every TV is going to be powered by either Roku TV or, in some cases, Android TV. And so that's our fastest growing.
Is that your biggest competitor in the smart TV market? You think it's Android?
They are our biggest competitor. We have a lot more design wins, but they're the only one of our main competitors who license. So they're our competitor.
Isn't there an argument though that the TV should be the actual hardware of the television should be a dumb screen and you just put a box underneath it?
Yeah.
Then you have a lot more competitors, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the engineering me, we didn't get into the TV business for a while because I thought, clearly TVs will become monitors and everyone will have a little box, and that's just the way it should be. That way you can have a great screen and not replace it every 3 years like your electronics need to be replaced. But you would think that's the way it is, but that's not the way it is.
Right.
The way it is it's built into the TV, and it's a standard feature. Retailers want it built in, and that's just the way the market's going.
So you're fine with the world in which people buy a Roku TV and then put an Apple TV or an Amazon stick underneath it?
Why would they do that?
Well, I mean, because that's their model, right? They're not going to actually sell physical televisions. They've poked around at it, but they're not going to. Amazon might. They might make a white label, but their model is to sell a box that connects to a TV, so you completely ignore the smart TV operating system.
Yeah, I think there will be a market for both TVs and boxes, but TVs are going to win. I mean, the consumers like convenience. If it's built into the TV, it's one remote. They don't have to change inputs. It's just simple. They'll use it. Maybe after a few years, they might decide that they want to upgrade. Maybe they'll just upgrade their TV. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't cost. You could buy a Roku TV at Walmart on Black Friday for $125. So they're not expensive.
Right. So let's talk about this cord-cutting world that we're entering. So consumers are going to buy a TV. They're not going to buy a cable bundle. They're going to connect it to their internet, which is often sold by their cable provider, so that's interesting. And then how are they going to sign up for content? Are you going to sell them a bundle? Are you going to sell them individual apps? What's your vision of the future of how you get television content?
Consumers have choice. That's one of the great things about streaming is it provides a lot more choice to customers. They can, if you want to sign up for a content package, you can sign up on a website, you can sign up on your phone, however you want to sign up. Certainly one way to sign up will be that Roku will merchandise content. We do merchandise content. It's a big part of our business, providing tools to help build audience for content owners. So, for example, when you buy a new Roku and you go through the initial sign-up flow on the website, enter your credit card number, type in your name, email address, that sort of thing. Oh, here's a bunch of content you might want. Do you want to sign up for Netflix? Do you want to sign up for Amazon? Do you want to sign up for Hulu? And then we have integrated billing. And then once you get through the initial sign-up flow on the device, we'll do a lot of promotion. So, for example, when Homeland launched, the new season of Homeland launched not too long ago on Showtime, we did a promotion on Showtime where we ran an ad for Homeland and said, click here and get the season premiere of Homeland, 24 hours before it comes out anywhere else, and get a free 1-week trial on Showtime. So those sort of promotions, and then one-click sign up for Roku integrated billing. So that's how we sell content. We did when Jerry Seinfeld launched on Hulu, we did a takeover where we themed the entire UI of your Roku to look like Jerry Seinfeld's apartment, and then we ran an ad for get a free trial of Hulu and sign up for Seinfeld. So that is a big part of our business model, helping content owners build audience for their content.
So that's really interesting, because what you're describing is a next generation TV experience. You're kind of saying we're the new cable box. We're the thing you buy to get TV. The FCC, and you wrote a scathing op-ed in the Wall Street Journal about this. So
Scathing. Wow.
Scathing.
That was a bit
fiery. The FCC has a program that they're calling Unlock the Box, which is a great rhyming hashtag, so that's fine. But their proposal is basically anyone should be able to build a traditional cable box and have it authenticate to your traditional linear cable system.
Mm-hmm.
My expectation was that tech companies like Roku, Microsoft, Google, Apple would line up behind this because it would give them access to that content. Your piece in the Wall Street Journal argued that this is nonsense, it will have unintended consequences, it will raise prices. You have no interest in this. Why is that?
Well, some tech companies certainly support it. Like the whole thing is backed by Google, so Google's behind it in our opinion.
You think Google's beyond Unlock the Box?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I think so. They're behind it. So first of all, everything you said you can do today. You can buy a Roku for $50 at Walmart, and you can install Time Warner Cable as an app on your Roku, and you can watch cable to your heart's delight on a Roku, and you can do that for Charter.
But you don't get every channel.
Yeah, you do.
Every single one.
Yeah, you get every Time Warner channel.
Okay.
And then we just announced a deal with Comcast. They're going to launch their Xfinity app. From Comcast's point of view, the Xfinity the X1 box has been very successful for them. It's a big step forward for a cable company in terms of user interface. It's driving good metrics for them in terms of things like better churn, that sort of engagement, that sort of thing. But they have to ship a big box to get it in every house. Now they'll have an app that you can just install on your Roku and have the equivalent of an X1 box as an app on your Roku. So, and they get all the goodness of, the better metrics and better UI experience. So yes, 20 years ago, the cable company controlled your box, controlled your television viewing experience. That is not the case anymore. You do have that option. You can buy a cable box or rent a cable box, but you don't have to do that. If you want Disney or ESPN, for example, you can sign up with your cable company, you can download the cable company's app on your Roku, or you can sign up with your cable company and download the ESPN app on your Roku and use the ESPN interface, or you can sign up for Sling TV, which is an OTT service, and get it. And there'll be more options. So the problem that the FCC is trying to solve, which we agree that you shouldn't have to use your cable box, has already been solved. That's the basic issue. And there are unintended consequences. It's complicated. The TV business is complicated, and we probably don't have time to go into all of it. But it will, I think, cause prices to go up for consumers. It'll distract the industry for something that's unnecessary. It will disproportionately help companies like Google that really don't need any help, and it distracts from the big issue. The big issue is broadband access, right?
Right.
Like as long as there is equal access to broadband by consumers, then the streaming revolution is going to continue full force. And the big issue is things like, things that have complicated names like zero rating, where a cable company might, for example, say, well, if you stream Netflix, that comes out of your bandwidth cap, but if you stream our service, that doesn't come out of your bandwidth cap. That's a much bigger issue.
Well, we should get into that. So zero rating is a huge threat to your business. And you just said, well...
No, it's not. I think it's going to be resolved, but it's something that needs to be taken care of.
Well, it's funny because the agency that would resolve it is the FCC. So you would prefer them to ignore the cable box and focus their...
I didn't say we should disband the FCC. I just said they should focus their effort on real problems instead of this thing that's not a problem that Google wants to change.
Let's talk about zero rating for a second, because that issue of who provides your broadband is tangled up with who is your television provider.
Yep.
And for a lot of people, it's the same company. It's Comcast or Time Warner or Charter or whoever. How do you think about your relationship with Comcast when they are, in fact, in the middle of an FCC examination of their... Comcast zero rates a service called Stream TV, but now they're putting their app on your box. How do you think about that relationship with that company?
Well, we have relationships with all major content companies in the world. Maybe not in the world, but in the 10 countries we do business in, and those contracts are complicated. I mean, there's a reason that entertainment companies have a lot of lawyers. I mean, it's not fun. It's not the fun part of our business to go negotiate those deals, but that's the process by which the appropriate economics are negotiated and the rights are resolved. And there's a lot of rights to resolve in the TV business. So it's just the way it is. I mean, I think that we've been successful. It's one of our advantages as a company is that we have a group whose job is to onboard content, negotiate those contracts. We have a good relationship with Comcast. In many ways it's competitive. In some ways it's adversarial, but in other ways it's we have their app. They authenticate HBO and other channels on our platform. It's like anything, like Amazon. I mean, Amazon's our biggest customer, but they're also probably one of our biggest competitors. So
How is Amazon's your customer in that they retail your devices?
No, they buy, the majority of our gross profit comes from our media and licensing business. They're a big buyer of ads on Roku. If you want to launch an original show, we're a great platform to launch a show. I mean, we have the highest engaged user base of streamers. If you want to launch an original show, buying ads on Roku is a great way to do that. So they launch original shows. They also, I don't think they've ever said publicly, but I suspect we're one of their top, if not their top, biggest distribution platform for Amazon Instant Video. And we have an economic deal with every content partner on our product. So when someone watches any piece of content on Roku, there's some economics that flow to us as part of the distribution deal. So they're our biggest customer, but they're also clearly a big competitor as well.
All right, so we got just over a minute left. Let me ask you one last question. You're a Roku customer. Obviously, you use
I am a
devices.
Roku customer, yes.
Hopefully. What is the biggest frustration that you want to fix in your product going forward from the customer perspective?
I think so. First of all, we have a great product, and if you buy one, you're not going to be frustrated. Okay, but I think if you look at where the UI is evolving, it used to be that Roku was a Netflix player. Like there was one app, it was Netflix. It booted up into the Netflix app. Then it became an app store and a platform, and now there's over 3,000 different apps on Roku. 300,000 movies and TV shows. There's a lot of content, and so the problem consumers have now is that they don't branch out a lot out of their top apps. So how do we? But there's a lot of great content. So how do we do a better job of merchandising all that content? I think that's the next phase of the UI, which is that. Doing a better job of recommendations, and we have already started with things like search, universal search. How can we help customers find content? And the flip side is that how can we help content owners merchandise their content to customers that want to watch?
Doesn't that make you when you disaggregate everybody else's UI into your own search or into your own recommendation, doesn't that create a tension between a company like ESPN that wants to build their own app and their own recommendation and keep you in that ecosystem?
It can, but I mean, our job is to show them that we can do it because we have platform-wide data. We can do a better job of merchandising that they can do on their own. And I think what will happen is, for 90% of our customers, that will be the case. That they will get more viewing and better economics by working with us directly. They'll still have their own app, but it won't be. But we'll also merchandise for them. But some companies like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, what I call destination apps, they're probably always going to be primarily an app experience.
The clock is going up now, so we should just keep going. No, honestly, I think we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. That was great.
Thanks.
And we'll talk to the rest of you soon.